Hello and welcome to the Quarantine Theater Company. Tonight we're doing one of the best Star Trek movies ever made, The Wrath of Khan. Joining us tonight is Jared doing the heavy lifting with screen scene description. Holy cow, it's going to be a long night. We've also got Logan joining us. He's going to be our illustrious, I'm sorry, it's Admiral Kirk, isn't it? Or is it Captain Kirk still? Admiral Kirk.
Admiral.
We've got Alexander he's going to be our Spock, in case you live long and prosper. Travis is joining us as Hikaru Sulu.
Yes.
Hi, Travis.
Hi.
We've got Curtis is going to be our Montgomery Scott. Yay! You give me a dirty look there, like she did the accent. We've got Scott with us. He's going to be Bones McCoy. Ryan's going to be our Pavel Chekhov. Ryan is going to be our very good Pavel Chekhov. And we've got Hunter doing double duty as both Khan and Shura. It's going to be wonderful. I am Anne, and I'm going to be Savick, and I wasn't planning on it, but I'm also going to be Carol Marcus tonight. So enjoy. Without further ado, take us away, Jared.
Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan by Harve Bennett. Fade in black. Absolute quiet. Sound bleeds in, low-level background noises of Enterprise bridge, clicking of relays, minor electronic effects. We hear a female voice.
Captain's log, stardate 8130.3. Starship Enterprise is on a training mission to the Gamma Hydra. Section 14 coordinates 22874. Approaching neutral zone. All systems functioning.
Interior Enterprise bridge. As the angle widens, we see the crew at stations. Screens and visual displays are in use. Commander Sulu at the helm, Commander Uhura at the comm console, Dr. Bones McCoy and Spock at his post. The captain is new and unexpected. Lieutenant Savick is young and beautiful. She is half Vulcan and half Romulan. In appearance, she is Vulcan with pointed ears, but her skin is fair, and she has none of the expressionless facial immobility of a Vulcan.
Leaving section 14 for section 15.
Project parabolic course to avoid entering the neutral zone.
Aye, Captain.
Uhura?
Captain, I'm getting something on the distress channel. Minimal signal, but something.
Can you amplify?
I'm trying.
Course change projected.
It's an emergency distress call.
On speakers. Oh, I didn't do this one.
Imperative. This is the Kobayashi Maru. 19 periods out of Altair 6. We have struck gravity 9 and have lost all power. Our hull is... and many casualties.
This is the Starship Enterprise. Your message is breaking up. Give your coordinates. Repeat.
Enterprise, our position is Gamma Hydra Section 10.
In the neutral zone.
Hull penetrated. Life support systems failing. Can you assist us, Enterprise? Can you...
Breaks up.
Data on the Kobayashi Maru. Tactical.
Tactical on big screen.
Subject vessel is third-class neutronic fuel carrier. Crew of 81, 300 passengers.
Damn. Mr. Sulu, plotted an intercept course.
May I remind the captain that if the starship enters the zone that we're gonna be.
I'm aware of my responsibilities, Mr. Sulu.
Now entering the neutral zone.
Interior Enterprise bridge, another angle.
Warning, you have entered the neutral zone. Warning.
Estimating 2 minutes to intercept.
On screen, Enterprise approaches the stricken vessel.
Standby transporter room ready to beam survivors aboard.
Captain, I've lost their signal.
Alert. Sensors indicate 3 Klingon cruisers bearing 316 Mark IV closing fast.
Visual.
On screen, we see the approach of the Klingon vessels. They are dark and sinister.
Battle stations, activate shields.
The alarm sounds.
Shields activated.
Inform the Klingons we are on a rescue mission.
They're jamming all frequencies, Captain.
Klingons on attack course and closing.
Screen verifies this. Saavik makes an agonized choice.
We're over our heads. Mr. Sulu, get us out of here.
I'll try, Captain.
Klingon cruisers approaching, bearing 090, Mark 20.
Visual.
The image flops. More Klingons approach. They fire photon torpedoes.
Evasive action.
Sulu does his best, but Enterprise is hit. Sulu is hurled from his station, and Bones hurries to him.
Engineering, damage report.
Main energizer hit, Captain.
Engage auxiliary power. Prepare to return fire.
The bridge takes another hit, a big one. In its wake, there's a second electrical explosion along the communications panel. Uhura falls from her station. Bones rushes to her side amid the smoke and alarms.
She is collapsing, Captain. Captain, we're losing auxiliary power.
Fire all phasers.
No power to the weapon system, sir.
Another hit. Reverberating flashes of spark and flame on the bridge. Spock dies. Bones comes to him, but even as he coughs his way through the smoke, a final hit and Bones falls. The room is smoke-filled and in shambles. Saavik looks about in shock.
Captain, it's no use. We're dead in space.
Saavik digests this for a painful moment. Then, touching a comm button,
Activate escape pods. Send out the long buoy. All hands abandon ship. Repeat, all hands.
All right. Open her up.
there is a loud clanging and full shot Enterprise bridge. The side walls of the bridge slide apart, revealing a lighted room beyond. Through the opening strides Kirk. He stops, surveys the shambles, and shakes his head.
Any suggestions, Admiral?
Prayer, Mr. Saavik. The Klingons do not take prisoners. Captain?
Trainees to the briefing room.
Sulu awakens with a grin. Uhura straightens herself demurely. The trainees head toward the distant room. Spock rises and leaves. Bones remains on the floor, head propped in his hand whimsically.
Physician, heal thyself.
That all you have to say? What about my performance?
I'm not a drama critic.
Bones rolls his eyes and rises. Kirk sees Saavik, who has not moved.
Well, Mr. Saavik, are you going to stay with the sinking ship?
Permission to speak candidly, sir.
Very well.
I don't believe this was a fair test of my command capabilities.
And why not?
Because there was no way to win.
A no-win scenario is a possibility every commander may face. Has that never occurred to you?
No, sir, it has not.
How we deal with death is at least as important as how we deal with life, wouldn't you say?
As I indicated, Admiral, that thought had not occurred to me.
And you have something new to think about. Carry on.
She stays at attention.
Wouldn't it be easier to put an experienced crew back on the ship?
They'll learn. Galloping around the cosmos is a game for the young, Doctor.
He leaves. They look at each other.
What is that supposed to mean?
Hold on, Saavik. Interior corridor outside the simulator room. Day. Kirk rounds the corner and sees Spock leaning against the wall.
Aren't you dead?
Spock almost smiles.
I assume you're loitering here to learn what efficiency rating I plan to give your cadets.
I am understandably curious.
They walk together.
Well, they destroy the simulator room, and you with it.
The Kobayashi Maru scenario frequently wreaks havoc with students and equipment. As I recall, you took the test 3 times yourself. Your final solution was, shall we say, unique.
It had the virtue of never having been tried.
Yours was not a solution which would have occurred to a Vulcan mentality.
So you said at the time. Speaking of which, your protege's first rare, a trifle emotion.
She's half Romulan, Jim. That mixture makes her more volatile than me, for example.
Than you. Yes, I see that. By the way, thank you for this.
He lifts the book.
I know of your fondness for antiques.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Message, Spock?
None of which I am consciously aware, except, of course, happy birthday. Surely the best of times.
Kirk looks around uncomfortably, overlaps.
Where are you off to now?
The Enterprise. I must check in before your inspection. And you?
Home.
Spock studies him.
Something presses you.
They are old friends.
Something.
He steps into a turbo elevator. The doors close as Spock watches, wiping the scene. Exterior deep space near Ceti Alpha 5. In foreground is the USS Reliant, an older, somewhat battered starship of the Enterprise class, with a slightly different configuration. Reliant approaches an inhospitable-looking yellow planet, Ceti Alpha 5.
Starship log, stardate 8130.4. This report classified most secret. Log entry by Commander Pavel Chekhov, duty officer. Starship USS Reliant on orbital approach with Ceti Alpha 6 in connection with project codename Genesis. We are continuing our search for a lifeless planet which will serve as a suitable test site for the Genesis experiments. This is the 16th planet we have visited. So far, no success.
Interior bridge of Reliant. Well-aged and distinctive. The usual complement of officers and crew. Captain Clark Terrell, about 45, soft-spoken and in good shape, but somewhat laconic. Behind Terrell, surveying the data screen, is Commander Chekhov. Aged some, but still boyish.
Standard orbit, Mr. Beach.
Standard orbit, sir.
Any change in surface scan?
Negative. Limited atmosphere dominated by crayon gas, sand, and high-velocity winds. Incapable of supporting life forms.
Forward screen, Ceti Alpha.
Does it have to be completely lifeless?
Terrell rises and crosses to Chekhov.
Don't tell me you've got something.
We've picked up a minor energy flux reading on one dyno scanner.
Damn. Are you sure? Maybe the scanner's out of adjustment.
I suppose it could be a particle of preanimate matter caught in the matrix.
All right. Let's get on the compact to Dr. Marcus. Maybe it's something we can transplant.
You know what she'll say.
Exterior deep space, Regula 1 space station. A functional cluster of modules serves as a scientific complex, a futuristic white sands, orbiting a small barren planetoid in background, Regula.
Something you can transplant? I don't know.
Interior space station, Carol's lab. Big but deserted except for Carol, in contact with Reliant. Surrounded by equipment clearly meant for many workers, Carol Marcus is in her early 40s, attractive and intelligent. Static mars the transmission. On the monitor, Terrell and Chekhov looking hopeful.
It might only be a particle of preanimate matter.
Then again, it might not. You boys have to be clear on this. There can't be as much of a microbe or the show's off. Why don't you have a look, if it is something that can be moved?
You bet. Doctor, we're on our way.
Carol sighs as the image fades, not happy. Interior corridor space station Regula 1. Carol walks through the labyrinth's complex with David, her son, a bright young scientist of 20. He is good-looking and humorous.
How can you let them pull that stuff on you? They're just lazy.
I'm bored, I know, but maybe it is something they can.
Come on, Mother. That's just the military mentality. Never put off tomorrow what you can put off today. If there's one atom of life...
I know.
Silence.
Well, don't have kittens. Genesis is going to work. They'll remember you in a wreath with Newton, Einstein, Sirach.
Thanks a lot. No respect for my offspring.
Par for the course. You teaming up with me for bridge after dinner?
Maybe?
Every time we have dealings with Starfleet, I get nervous. We're dealing with something that could be perverted into a dreadful weapon. Remember that overgrown Boy Scout you used to hang out with? That's exactly the...
They walk past the camera, their voices fading.
Listen, kiddo. Jim Kirk was many things, but he was never a Boy Scout.
Hold on the empty corridor. Interior Kirk's apartment, Terra Night. Kirk reads the novel, trying to focus. His flat befits an admiral and a loner with few possessions. except a collection of antiques. We hear a soft bong. Startled, Kirk lowers the book and pushes a button.
Come.
The door slides open and Bones enters. He carries 2 packages, one of them wrapped in brown paper.
Bless me, Doctor, and what beams you into this neck of the woods?
Beware Romulans bearing gifts. Happy birthday, Jim.
With a flourish, he pulls out a bottle of blue liquid.
Romulan ale. Bones, you know this stuff is illegal.
I only use it for medicinal purposes. Now, don't be a prig.
283.
Yeah, well, it takes this stuff some time to ferment. Gimme.
He takes the bottle and pours. Continues talking.
Now, you open the other one.
Kirk starts to obey.
Almost afraid to. What did you bring me? Contraband Klingon?
More antiques for your collection. Cheers.
They drink. The package is opened, a pair of gold Ben Franklin half glasses. Romulan ale is an instant drunk. Both men react.
Cheers, Bones. These are charming.
400 years old. You don't find many with the lens still intact.
What are they?
For your eyes. For most patients your age, I usually administer Retinox 5 to restore flexibility of the lens.
But I'm allergic to Retlax.
Exactly. Happy birthday.
He toasts. Kirk is unsure how they work.
Slide them down your nose. Now look at me over the top. And you read the printed matter through the bottom.
Amazing. I don't know what to say.
Could say thank you.
Thank you.
An awkward silence.
Damn it, Jim. What the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral?
Bones, I don't want to be lectured.
What the hell do you want? Damn it, why isn't there a girl here? You know, this has nothing to do with age. This is about you flying a goddamn computer console when you want to be out there hopping galaxies.
Spare me your notions of poetry, please. We all have our assigned duties, and...
Bull. You're hiding. Hiding behind rules and regulations.
Who am I hiding from?
From yourself, Admiral.
Pause. Kirk pours another drink.
Don't mince words, Bones. Tell me what you really think.
Jim, I'm your doctor and I'm your friend. Get back your command. Get it back before you really do grow old. Before you turn into part of this collection.
They look at each other. Exterior Reliant deep space, orbiting Ceta Alpha 5. Voices over indicate the transporter room is ready. Exterior surface Ceti Alpha 5. A yellow planet in constant swirling hurricane winds of sand. Terrell and Chekhov materialize. Their voices filtered, are hard to make out. With the tricorder to guide them, they set out.
Are you sure these are the coordinates?
Captain, this is the garden spot of Ceti Alpha 6.
I can hardly see.
Several angles. The difficult search. The men leaning into the wind. Terrell is ahead of Chekhov in a slight rise.
There is nothing. Let's go.
Terrell waves him frantically forward. As Chekhov moves up, we rise with him to the top of the ridge and look down. Their point of view. A ruined series of man-made structures, half buried in sand. They look at each other in consternation. Chekhov is worried. Something about all of this is familiar. They descend towards the structures, now seen to be the wreckage of some sort of spacecraft. They pass but do not notice the Federation logo, half buried next to their feet.
They look like cargo carriers.
As Chekhov looks at the porthole, a face suddenly looks back. It is the face of a child. The apparition scares the daylights out of Chekhov and us. He screams.
Ah, what is it?
He comes clumsily over.
A face. I saw. It was like a child.
He points. The porthole is empty.
You're crazy.
I saw it.
There's an airlock.
He points and they go to the airlock. Interior cargo hold. Terrell and Chekhov enter dumbfounded. Their point of view. Someone lives here. There are bed, food, all jerry-rigged, but no people. Terrell checks the monitor.
There's breathable atmosphere in here.
He takes off his helmet. Chekhov likewise.
What the hell is this? Did they crash? Where's the rest of the ship?
They wander as they talk, picking up objects that bespeak a fairly sophisticated ad hoc environment. A laboratory in one hold, a kitchen, a large sand tank filled with disgusting setae eels. Abruptly a sound, they start, child's gurgle.
I told you, I saw it.
They start looking. They enter a new chamber. Khan's quarters. On its side, in the sand, the walls are now the floor, etc. All in crookedness, like its owner. On the floor, smiling at them, is a baby. Tentatively, they come over to it, looking around. Chekhov's point of view. Lethal-looking odd swords on one wall, a bookshelf. Camera pans by 20th century volumes. Moby Dick, King Lear, the Holy Bible, and a seatbelt dangling with the name on it, Botany Bay. Chekhov mouths the words, softly at first, then aloud.
Botany Bay. Oh, no.
What's the matter?
Chekhov runs, tries to get his helmet on, tries to drag Terrell.
Captain, we've got to get out of here. Now. Damn. Hurry.
Terrell catches his urgency.
But the child.
Never mind. Hurry.
Exterior cargo hold airbay. Terrell and Chekhov emerge, helmeted and stop dead. Their point of view. A ring of suited figures has them surrounded. Interior Reliant, the bridge. Mr. Beach, the duty officer, stands looking at SETI Alpha 5 on the forward screen.
Try again. Starship Reliant to Captain Terrell. This is Lieutenant Kyle. Will you please respond, Captain? Captain Terrell, respond, please.
Nothing.
Let's give him a little more time.
Interior cargo hold SETI Alpha 5. Terrell and Chekhov are held by 4 strong men. They seem to be waiting. One of the men is Joachim. Out of the airlock steps a small masked figure. A moment of suspense as Terrell and Chekhov watch, terrified. The mask is peeled back.
Chekhov thinks it's airline.
Khan, you hear me? Khan.
Khan is startled by the recognition, comes over and examines Chekhov and Terrell.
I don't know you, but you never forget a face. Mr. Chekhov, isn't it? I never thought to see your face again.
Chekhov, who is this man?
Criminal, Captain. A product of the late 20th century genetic engineering.
What do you want with us? I demand.
You are in a position to demand nothing, sir. I, on the other hand, am in a position to grant nothing. What you see is all that remains of the ship's company and the crew of the Botany Bay, marooned here 15 years ago by Captain James T.
Listen to me. You men and women.
Save your strength, Captain. These people have sworn to live and die at my command 200 years before you were born. Jimmy, never told you the tale. To amuse you, Captain. Never told you the Enterprise picked up the Botany Bay, lost in space from the year 1996. Myself and the ship's company in cryogenic freeze.
I never even met Admiral Kirk.
Admiral? He didn't tell you how Admiral Kirk sent 70 of us into exile on this barren sand heap with only the contents of these cargo bays to sustain us?
You lie. On SETI Alpha 5, there was life. A fair chance to...
This is SETI Alpha 5. SETI Alpha 6 exploded 6 months after we were left here. The shock shifted the orbit of this planet, and everything was laid waste. Admiral Kirk never bothered to check on our progress. It was only the fact of my genetically engineered intellect that enabled us to survive. On Earth, 200 years ago, I was a prince with power over millions. Now, like Prometheus, I have been left by Admiral Kirk to digest my own entrails.
Captain Kirk was your host. You repaid his hospitality by trying to steal his ship and murder him.
No, Adrian never told you about his shipmate. The beautiful, courageous Lieutenant McGuire gave up everything to join me in exile. Out of love! And see how Admiral Kirk requited her devotion.
The wind howls in the silence. When Khan turns, his eyes are filled with tears.
Plague upon you all.
He recovers his poise and returns to them.
You did not expect to find me. You thought this was SETI Alpha 6. Why are you here?
They don't answer. Khan goes over to Terrell and with one hand lifts him into the air.
Why?
Terrell gasps, stays silent.
No matter.
He lets go. Terrell
No
falls with a
matter.
thud.
You will soon tell me willingly enough.
He goes over to the tank and dips
You
a
will
kind
soon
of
tell me
strainer,
willingly enough.
pulling out 2 SETI eels, wriggling items.
Let me introduce you to SETI Alpha 5's only remaining indigenous life form. What do you think? I killed 20 of my people, including my beloved wife. Oh, not all at once, not in such a short. The young enter through the ears and wrap themselves around the cerebral cortex. This has the effect of rendering the victim extremely susceptible to suggestion. Later, as they grow, follows madness, paralysis, and death. These are pets, of course, not quite domesticated.
As he speaks, Khan dumps an eel in each of their helmets. He swirls the helmets around as though he were mixing martinis.
Khan, listen to me. Captain Kirk was only doing his duty. You...
Close up Khan, camera in.
There is some pain at first, I am told, and then the effects are quite benign until the end. That was what I learned from watching my wife.
At a sign, the helmets are slammed down. As the muffled shrieks are heard from within, the eels crawl across the faces of Chekhov and Terrell. With unerring instincts, they head for the ears of the 2 hapless men. There is some atrocious pain as they enter. Then, dazed calm.
That's pleasure. Now, tell me why you are here, and tell me where I may find Jane.
Interior Reliant Bridge.
Captain Terrell, this is Reliant. Please respond.
No answer. Beach makes up his mind.
Mr. Kyle, muster a landing party with full arms. Alert the transporter room. We're beaming down.
He heads for the door, but is stopped by.
Reliant, this is Terrell. Respond, please.
This is Reliant. Clark, are you all right?
Fractional pause.
Everything's fine, Commander. I'll explain when I see you. Oh, by the way, we're bringing several guests aboard. Prepare to beam up on my next signal. Terrell out.
Beach and Kyle look at each other.
Guests? Maybe we are transplanting something.
Exterior orbiting space dock area, Terra. A space shuttle moving toward us. Interior space shuttle. A new composite. Bones, Sulu, Uhura, and Kirk, who sits reading. Through the windows, we can see the approach of the Starship Enterprise. Kirk looks up, nods. Sulu activates a comm button.
Enterprise, this is Admiral Kirk's party on final approach.
Enterprise welcomes you. Prepare for docking.
Kirk looks up from his book as Sulu sits next to him.
I really must thank you.
I am delighted. Any chance to go aboard Enterprise, however briefly, is always an excuse for nostalgia.
I cut your new orders personally. By the end of the month, you'll have your first command, USS Excelsior.
Thank you, sir. I've always looked forward to this for a long time.
You've earned it. I'm still grateful to have you at the helm for 3 weeks. I don't believe these kids can steer.
Sulu laughs. Exterior space dock Terra. The shuttle approaches the mammoth airstrip. As we near the ship, a few work crews in space flit about her hull working. Exterior Enterprise. The shuttle makes its way to the docking lock of the mothership and settles in place. Interior Enterprise docking bay. A reception group awaits, led by Captain Spock. Saavik stands at his side in company of the trainee crew. Also present, Chief Engineer Mr. Scott and members of his staff in their distinctive uniforms.
Docking procedure complete.
Prepare for Admiral's inspection.
The group comes to attention.
Open the airlock.
The doors open. Kirk and his staff are piped aboard by an electronic vision of the boatswain's traditional whistle. Kirk salutes the Federation symbol and steps forward to exchange salutes with Spock.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Welcome aboard, Admiral. I believe you know my trainee crew. Certainly they have come to know you.
Yes. We've been through death and life together.
Saavik stiffens slightly. Humor is not her forte.
Mr. Scott, you old space dog, you're well?
I had a meal he about, but Dr. McCoy pulled me through.
Oh. A wee bout of what, Mr. Scott?
Uncomfortable, Scotty exchanges a glance with Bones.
Shore leave, Admiral.
Ah.
He stops before a bright-faced 14-year-old, standing so stiff he looks like he'll break, in an engineer's uniform.
And who is this?
The midshipman first class Peter Preston, engineer's mate, sir.
A big salute. Kirk is amused, returns the salute.
Your first training voyage, Mr. Preston?
Yes, sir.
I see. Well, shall we start with the engine room?
He moves, followed by his staff.
I believe you'll find all in order.
We'll see you on the bridge, Admiral.
Very good, Mr. Spock.
Kirk and party leave. Camera pushes in on Spock and Saavik.
He's not what I expected, sir.
What did you expect, Lieutenant?
He's very human.
We can't all be perfect, Saavik. You must control your prejudices and remember that as a Vulcan and as a Romulan, you are forever a stranger in an alien land. Around you are humans, and as a member of the Starfleet, you are unlikely ever to escape their presence or their influence. You must learn tolerance in addition to all else I have taught you. Tolerance is logical.
Saavik is humbled.
As always, my mentor. Company dismiss.
As always, my mentor. Company dismiss. Stealing my lines, Captain.
Interior Enterprise engine room looking down. The inspection party dwarfed by the size. Silence as Kirk looks around, runs a finger for dust, etc. Scotty, his team, and Preston stand at attention. Angle, floor of engine room. Featuring power room separated by glass from the rest of the facilities. Bones, Sulu, Uhura, and some trainees watch as Kirk inspects one console, clearly the responsibility of the bursting midshipman Preston.
I believe you'll find everything shipshape, Admiral.
Oh, do you? Have you any idea, Midshipman Preston, how many times I've had to listen to Mr. Scott on the comm telling me his troubles? Have you any idea the ribbing I've had to endure in the officers' mess to the effect that the Enterprise is a flying death trap?
Oh, no, sir. This is the finest engine room in the whole star.
The repressed grins of the others and a smile on Scotty's face tell Preston he's being had. He stops, confused.
If the Admiral can't see the facts for himself, then with all due respect, he's as blind as a Tiberian bat, sir.
Approving laughter. Kirk looks amused.
And Shipman, you're a tiger.
My sister is youngest, Admiral. Crazy to get to space.
Every young boy's fancy. I seem to remember it myself. Very well, Mr. Scott. Are your engines capable of handling a minor training cruise?
Give the word, Admiral.
Mr. Scott, the word is given.
Aye, sir.
He moves off, followed by Preston, who gives one last salute as Kirk leaves, followed by Bones.
Admiral, what about the rest of the inspection?
The inspection will continue once we're underway, Doctor.
They step into the turbolifts. Interior Enterprise bridge. The real one, no doubt. Camera reveals the maze detail, winking and blinking displays, all hands at station, a hum of activity. Uhura and Sulu in familiar chairs. Spock is in the captain's chair, Saavik in the first officer's position. Kirk and Bones stand towards the rear.
This is Starfleet Operations. Enterprise is cleared for departure.
Admiral on the bridge.
Very well, Mr. Savick. Clear all moorings.
Aye, sir.
Savick punches data into her console. Exterior space dock and an Enterprise. The dock slowly folds away from the ship. Interior bridge Enterprise. Savick watches instruments, punches data in response.
All moorings are clear, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Savick.
Spock casts a glance at Kirk, then to Savick.
Lieutenant, how many times have you piloted a starship out of space dock?
Never, sir.
Kirk tries to conceal his reaction. Spock enjoys it.
Take her out, Mr. Savick.
Aye, sir.
Savick settles herself into the chair, looks again at the console. Spock looks at Kirk.
There's a first time for everything, Admiral.
You sure, Captain?
As they stifle their responses, Kirk is like a father, watching his kid drive the family car for the first time.
Aft thrusters, Mr. Sulu.
Aft thrusters, sir.
Exterior Enterprise, as the ship slowly and majestically leaves the dock. Interior Enterprise bridge. Activity hums.
Ahead 1/4 impulse power.
Kirk starts to say something but doesn't. Bones looks at him.
You like a tranquilizer?
Kirk shakes his head, takes a breath.
Ahead 1/4 impulse power.
Interior Space Dock Enterprise. The ship clears the dock and begins heading into space. Interior Enterprise bridge. Kirk quietly lets out his breath.
We are clear and free to navigate.
Course heading, Captain.
Spock turns inquiringly to Kirk.
Captain's discretion.
Spock digests this with a slight smile.
Mr. Sulu, you may follow your nose.
Exterior the Enterprise. She gathers speed into the vastness of space. Exterior space featuring the Reliant, moving toward us in opposition to the previous shot, close enough for us to read her markings. Interior Reliant bridge. Khan occupies the captain's chair. We pull back. The crew of the Reliant has been replaced by Khan's followers and their odd-looking clothes. At the helm is Yoakum, Khan's lieutenant. He is in the largest and brightest of Khan's group. Terrell sits in the first officer's chair, Chekhov at the comm console. Their behavior is normal, save for the subtle hesitation, symptoms of their mind-controlled state.
Ready? On course, all systems normal or nominal.
It's not much different from Enterprise. When I was a guest aboard her some years ago, Captain Kirk kindly allowed me to memorize her technical manuals. And now, Mr. Chekhov, let us review. You say you have no details of Project Genesis.
Beyond what I told you, sir, it is classified information.
Would Admiral Kirk have access to such information?
I would think so, sir. He's on the fleet general staff.
And to whom do you report directly regarding Genesis?
To Dr. Marcus, the civilian director of the experiments on Space Laboratory Regula 1.
I see. Helmsman?
Aye, sir.
May I speak? We're all with you, sir, but consider we are free. We have a ship and the means to go where we will. We have escaped permanent exile on Ceti Alpha 6. You have proved your superior intellect and defeated the plans of Admiral Kirk. You do not need to defeat him again.
He tasks me. He tasks me, and I'll have him. I'll chase him round the moons of Nibia, and around the Antares maelstrom, around perdition's flames before I give him up. Prepare to alter course for Space Station Regular 1.
Exterior Space Station Regular 1. Interior Carol's lab. Huge and busy. Among the scientists going about their tasks are Jeddah, Adelton, March, thin and tense, Madison, black, easygoing. They are all young and earnest. Carol and David huddle over a computer console.
Does that about do it?
I don't think there's another piece of information we can squeeze onto the memory banks. Next time we'll design a bigger one.
Who?
Jeddah at the comm console overlaps.
Compec coming in on hyperchannel. It's Reliant.
Carol moves forward as others close in.
On screen, please, Jeddah.
Buttons punched, the screen ebbs, flows and crackles on. On screen is Chekhov.
Come in, please. This is Reliant calling Regular 1. Repeat, this is USS Reliant.
Commander, we are receiving. This is Regular 1. Go ahead.
Dr. Marcus. Good. We are en route to you and should be there in 3 days.
En route? Why? We weren't expecting you for another 3 months. Has something happened? Do you read us?
All went well. Nothing has happened. SETI Alpha 6 has checked out.
Please reaction from the scientists.
I still don't
We have received new orders. Upon our arrival at Regular 1, all materials of Project Genesis will be transferred to this ship for immediate testing at SETI Alpha 6. Bullshit!
In the lab. David is livid. The words are overlapped by his mother.
Will you please be quiet? Commander Chekhov, this is completely irregular. Who gave the order you were quoting? Who gave the order?
The order comes from Starfleet Command, Dr. Marcus, direct from the General Staff.
But Genesis is a civilian project under my control.
I have my orders. Pin him down, Mother. Who gave the orders?
Chekhov hesitates, seems to be listening to someone off the monitor.
The orders come from Admiral James T. Kirk.
Sensation in the lab.
I knew it! I knew it! All along, the military has wanted to get their hands on this.
He starts to press a button. Carol pushes his hand away and communicates herself.
This is completely improper, Commander Chekhov. I have no intention of allowing Reliant or any other unauthorized personnel access to our work materials.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Doctor. Admiral Kirk's orders are confirmed. Please prepare to deliver Genesis to us upon our arrival. Reliant out.
The image
Commander
fades.
Chekhov!
Interior bridge of Reliant. Chekhov, in a matched cut, turns away as camera widens to reveal Khan by his side. He is charming.
Well done, Commander.
You realize, sir, that they will attempt to contact Admiral Kirk and confirm the order.
Khan smiles, more charming than ever as we move in. Interior Regular 1 lab. Everyone is talking at once.
Will you please be quiet? We must have order here. This has to be some sort of mistake.
Mistake! We're all alone here. They waited until everyone was on shift leave to do this. Reliant is supposed to be at our disposal, not vice versa.
It seems clear that Starfleet never intended that.
I know, but...
I've tried to warn you. Scientists are always pawns of the military.
Starfleet has kept the peace for 100 years. I cannot and will not subscribe to your interpretation of this event.
Silence.
You may be right, Doctor. But what about Reliant? She's on her way.
Carol reacts. This is certainly true.
Get your gear together where it's handy.
Where are we going?
Oh, sorry. That's for us to know and Reliant to find out. We have only 3 days. Let's not waste time.
They split off in different directions as ordered. Exterior Enterprise, in no particular hurry. Interior Enterprise corridor. Kirk waits for the turbo lift, which opens at last. As he gets in,
Hold, please.
Kirk holds and Saavik dashes in. She is surprised to see him.
Thank you, sir.
Kirk nods. The doors close. There's an uneasy forced intimacy between them.
Lieutenant, wearing your hair differently?
It is still regulation, Admiral.
She reaches out and touches a button. The lift stops.
May I speak, sir?
Lieutenant, self-expression does not seem to be one of your problems.
I wish to thank you for the high efficiency rating.
You earned it.
I did not think so.
You're bothered by your performance on Kobayashi Maru.
I failed to resolve the situation.
There is no correct resolution. It's a test of character.
May I ask how you dealt with the test?
You may ask, Lieutenant.
She stares.
That was a little joke.
Humor. That is a difficult concept. It is not logical.
We learn by doing, Lieutenant.
She's a laugh a minute. Kirk pushes the button. The elevator starts.
You want my advice?
She studies him, considering. No doubt about it, the attraction is mutual, and she has no idea how to handle it.
Yes.
Take the test again.
The lift stops and the doors open.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
He reacts to them. Savik exits demurely.
Thank you, sir.
Bones enters and the doors close. Kirk studies the ceiling.
You changed your hairstyle?
Kirk says nothing.
Wonderful stuff, that Romeo and Ale.
Admiral Kirk,
Kirk here.
I have an urgent con pick from Space Lab Regular 1 for the Admiral, Dr. Carol Marcus.
In my quarters, Uhura.
Yes, sir.
Awkward silence.
Never rains, but it pours.
As a physician, you of all people should appreciate the dangers of reopening old wounds.
The elevator stops. Kirk leaves, the doors close.
Sorry.
Interior Kirk's quarters. Featuring view screen. A scramble of interference and noise. A piece of Carol's voice breaks through now and again as we pull back, revealing a frustrated Kirk.
Uhura, can't you augment?
I'm trying, sir. Stand by.
Carol's face appears. The image will never be stable for long. Sometimes the sound will be covered.
Jim, read me. Can you read me?
Message breaking up, Carol. What's wrong? What's wrong?
I can't read you. Repeat.
Repeat. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Taking Genesis away from us.
Taking Genesis? Who? Who is taking Genesis?
See you but can't hear. Did you order?
What order? Who's taking Genesis?
Please help us, Jim. We won't let them have without proper repeat. On whose authority?
Carol.
Jim, please.
But the picture is irrevocably scrambled now. Kirk pounds the comm in frustration.
Uhura, what's happening? Damn it.
A transmission jammed at the source, sir.
Damn. Alert Starfleet headquarters. I want to talk to Starfleet Command.
Exterior Enterprise cruising. Interior Enterprise bridge. The activity is normal. The turbolift opens and Kirk strides in. Bones and Savik react to the following.
Stop engines.
Aye, sir. Stop engines.
They look wonderingly. Kirk takes a breath.
An emergency situation has arisen. By order of Starfleet Command, as of now, 1800 hours, I am assuming command of this vessel. Duty officer so noted in the ship's log. Plot a new course for Space Laboratory Regular 1. Mr. Scott?
Aye, sir.
We're going to go to warp speed.
Aye, sir.
Course plotted for Regular 1. Admiral.
Engage warp engines.
Prepare for warp speed.
Ready, sir?
Mr. Sulu, go to warp 5.
Sulu does, and with a great thrust of energy, Exterior Space Enterprise. The ship accelerates and then, with an eye-filled burst, whips ahead to warp speed, disappearing. Interior Spock's quarters. Spock is at meditation as Kirk enters quietly. Spock looks up.
Got a problem.
Spock raises an eyebrow.
Something may be wrong at Regular 1. We've been ordered to investigate.
Regular 1 is a scientific research laboratory, if memory serves.
I told Starfleet all we had was a boatload of children and we're the only ship in the quadrant. Spock, those cadets of yours, how good are they? How will they respond under real pressure?
Like all living beings, Admiral, each according to his gifts. The ship is yours.
That won't be necessary. Just take me to Regular One.
Excuse my presumption, but I do not agree. As a teacher on a training mission, I'm content to command a starship. If we are to go on actual duty, it is clear that the senior officer aboard must assume command.
Or maybe nothing. Garbled communications. Why don't you...
You proceed from a false assumption. I am a Vulcan. I have no ego to bruise.
Kirk smiles in bemused wonderment.
You're going to remind me that logic alone dictates your actions.
I was going to remind you of nothing, least of all that which you know well. Your mistake, if I may be so bold, was promotion. Commanding a starship is your first best destiny. Anything else is a waste of material.
I would not presume to debate you.
That is wise. In any case, were I to evoke logic, logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Or the one.
Spock inclines his head.
You are my superior officer. You are also my friend. I have been and always shall be yours.
Kirk is moved. He starts to speak. Can't. Finally.
You accompany me to the bridge?
I'd best talk with Mr. Scott first so that he may, in his own words, explain the situation to his cadets.
Kirk's face tells us the wisdom of Spock's choice. Exterior Space Station Regular One, floating quietly around the planet below. Tranquil as we push slowly in. Over, we can hear filtered Uhura's voice.
Regular One, this is Enterprise. This is Enterprise calling. Do you receive? I say...
Interior Enterprise Bridge, featuring Spock and Uhura as she keeps trying.
Again, this is Enterprise calling. Space Lab Regular One, come in, please. Dr. Marcus, please respond, please. It's no use. No response from Regular One.
But no longer jammed.
No, sir, nothing.
Spock considers, moves to Kirk.
There are two possibilities, sir. They are unwilling to respond. They are unable to respond.
How far?
12 hours and 43 minutes, present speed.
Give up Genesis, she said. What in God's name does that mean? Give it up to whom?
It may help my analysis if I knew what Genesis was.
Kirk looks at him, nods, rising now.
Uhura, ask Dr. McCoy to join us in my quarters. Miss Savick, take the comm.
They start for the turbolifts as Savick reacts. Interior Kirk's quarters.
Well, I've got sickbay ready. Will someone please tell me what is going on?
Computer. Request security procedure and access to the Project Genesis summary.
Identify for retina scan.
Kirk, Admiral James T. Starfleet General Staff, Security Class 1.
The screen is suddenly busy with coded readouts and then the computer graphics of retina patterns. Then it glows green. Security clearance Class 1 granted.
Summary, please.
More coded readouts, a red line security scan, then over it approved in green, replaced by on-screen interior Carol Marcus Lab Regular One. Carol appears facing camera, not used to it. To one side stands David and behind them, the lab. Angle, Kirk, Spock, and Bones.
Carol Marcus.
Yes.
On screen.
I'm Dr. Carol Marcus, and I'm the director of the Project Genesis team at Regular One. What exactly is Genesis? Put simply, Genesis is a procedure whereby the molecular structure of any given matter can be restructured, changed into anything else of identical mass.
Tape accompaniment.
Fascinating.
Wait.
Stage 1 of our experiments was conducted on the laboratory. Stage 2 of the series will be attempted in a lifeless underground cave. Stage 3 will involve the process on a of a planetary scale. What follows is a computer-projected simulation of Stage 3. Please watch closely.
ILM monitor sequence.
It is our intention to introduce what we call the Genesis device, or torpedo, into the targeted area of a lifeless space body, a moon or other inert form. The device is fired.
On Bones, Spock, and Kirk, reacting with wonder. Back to monitor.
Unleashing an almost instantaneously what we call the Genesis effect. Particulate matter is reorganized and electrified with life-introduced results. Instead of a dead moon, A living, breathing planet capable of sustaining whatever life forms we see fit to deposit on it. The reformed object you see represents the merest fraction of the Genesis potential. Should the Federation wish to pursue these experiments to their logical conclusion, when we consider the problem of population and food supply, the usefulness of this process begins to become clear. This concludes this demonstration tape. Thank you for your attention. The Genesis team eagerly awaits the decision of the Federation regarding the next phase of work.
The tape becomes snowy and blinks off. Kirk looks at Bones and Spock. They're stunned.
It literally is Genesis.
Power of creation.
Have they proceeded with their experiments?
Tape was only a year ago. I can only assume they've reached phase 2 by now.
Dear Lord, are we intelligent enough to... suppose... What if this thing were used where life already exists?
It would destroy such life in favor of its new matrix.
It's new matrix. Have you any idea what you're saying?
I was not attempting to evaluate its moral implications, Doctor. As a matter of cosmic history, it has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Not anymore. Now you can do both at the same time. According to myth, the Earth was created in 6 days. Now watch out. Here comes Genesis. We'll do it for you in 6 minutes.
I don't dispute that in the wrong hands.
Would you like to tell me whose are the right hands, my cold-blooded friend? Are you in favor of these experiments?
Gentlemen, this isn't...
Really, Dr. McCoy, you cannot ban the acquisition of knowledge because you distrust the moral implications of what you learn. Logic suggests...
Logic? This guy's talking about logic. We're talking about universal Armageddon. You inhuman, green-blooded...
Admiral, sensors indicate a vessel in our area, closing fast.
What do you make of her?
It's one of ours, Admiral. It's the Reliant.
What's she doing here?
Chekhov's on the Reliant, isn't he?
Interior Enterprise bridge. The whoosh of the turbo doors and Kirk, Bones, and Spock assume their posts. Saavik stands next to Kirk's chair.
She's not responding.
Try the emergency channels.
Enterprise to Reliant. Come in, Reliant.
Picture, Miss Saavik.
Angle including the forward screen. Space, a tiny dot in the distance growing larger.
Attempt visual communication.
Yes, sir.
It's possible their comm system has failed.
It would explain a great many things.
Exterior space, the Reliant, boring forward ominously. Interior bridge, the Reliant. Khan and his crew, no signs of Chekhov and Terrell. On Khan's screen, the Enterprise grows larger.
Slow to 1/2 impulse power. Let's be friends.
Slowing to 1/2 impulse.
They're requesting visual communications, sir.
Let them eat static.
They're still running with shields down.
Of course, we're one big happy fleet. Ah, Kirk, my old friend. You know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold. It is very cold in space.
Interior Enterprise bridge.
Reliant in our section, this quadrant, sir, and slowing.
Visual.
Visual of Reliant appears.
Sir, may I quote General Order 12 on the approach of any vessel when communications have not been established?
Lieutenant, the Admiral is aware of the regulations.
Aye, sir.
Damn peculiar. Yellow alert.
Energize defense fields.
Alarm sounds. The lights on the bridge dim into a soft reddish glow of battle illumination. Additional crew troop in to man vacant consoles.
I'm getting a voice message. Wait, short-range band. They say their chambers coil is shorting their comm system.
Spock.
Scanning.
He steps to a station. Exterior space. The two ships are very close, barely moving as they inch toward each other. Interior Reliant bridge.
They still haven't raised their shields.
Khan is half out of his seat, sweating with anticipation.
Careful. Not all at once. Engine room. Lock on target and prepare to fire.
Collecting phasers on target.
Computer graphics monitor, crosshairs on Enterprise, big screen. Interior Enterprise bridge, favoring Spock. He reacts to his blue lit scope.
Their coil emissions are normal. Wait, their shields are going up. They're locking phasers.
Raise shields, energize phasers, stand by to.
But the entire bridge is rocked by a shock impact, some of the crew sent flying. Exterior space, Reliant firing phasers at Enterprise. A hit in the rear of the engine room area, debris flying into the void. Interior Enterprise engine room. An explosion rips through the facility, sending yellowish green gas hurtling down a long facility toward us. Crewmen are hurled through the air, screaming. Angle, the great auto doors, rolled closed, sealing off the damaged tail section. Sirens shrieking. The trainees, terrified, scramble to get out amid the deadly yellowish green smoke and cries. Scotty trying to rally them.
Respirators! Get back! Use the respirators!
And he puts his own respirator on, as do some of the veterans. Preston dons his respirator and stays. High angle engine room. The angle we saw during inspection. The trainees, in panic amid the gas, crawl over each other, trying to get out. They scramble over each other's shoulders in efforts to escape, screaming and shouting. Interior Enterprise bridge. The bridge is slowly righting. Crew members getting back to their stations. On speaker, we hear the cries and shouts of the engine room.
Mr. Sulu, the shields.
I'm trying, sir.
Medical alert. Engine room.
Bones dashes out.
I can't get power, sir.
Scotty!
Scotty's voice is faint, drowned by the screams and cries from a dozen intercom stations.
Uhura, turn off those damn channels!
Uhura does. There is a dead silence.
Mr. Scott on discreet.
Scotty, let's have it.
Interior engine room favoring Scotty. Behind the crew chief and a few others work feverishly in respirators. Scotty in respirator with a throat mic with which filters his voice.
Just hanging on, sir. Main energizers out.
Interior Enterprise bridge. On-screen computer graphics. Red flashing lights indicates damaged areas. Spock steps up to Kirk, evaluating the display.
They knew just where to hit us.
Who? Who knew just where to hit us? And why?
One thing is certain, we cannot escape on auxiliary power.
Visual. Mr. Sulu, divert everything to the phasers.
Too late.
On visual screen, photon torpedoes approach.
Hang on!
The bridge is shaken badly. Screens go dark. Fires spark and erupt. Alarms and sound full. Crew personnel try to put out electrical fires, help the fallen. Exterior space Reliant, circling Enterprise. Interior Reliant bridge, favoring Khan at dash. The glow of the off-screen screens and battle illumination highlighting the passion in his eyes. Interior Enterprise bridge, the firefighting continues.
Scotty, what's left?
Just the battery, sir. I can have auxiliary power in a few minutes.
We don't have minutes. Can you give me phaser power?
A few shots, sir.
Not enough against their shields.
Who the hell are they?
Admiral, Commander Reliant is signaling. He wishes to discuss terms of our surrender.
There is a moment. Kirk looks around the battered bridge and his eyes meet Spock's and Savik's.
On screen.
Admiral.
Do it while we have time.
All eyes go to the screen. After momentary visual confusion, Khan's face appears, smiling.
Khan.
Still remember, Admiral. Cannot help but be touched. Of course, I remember you.
What is the meaning of this attack? Where is the crew of the Reliant?
Surely I have made my meaning plain. I mean to avenge myself upon you, Admiral. I've deprived your ship of power, and when I swing round, I mean to deprive you of your life.
Exterior space. We can see Reliant making a large arc as she prepares to come back for another round. Interior Enterprise bridge.
But I wanted you to know first who it was who beaten you. I, Khan Noon Sin, the eagle you attempted to cage forever.
Khan, listen to me. If it's me you want, I'll have myself beamed aboard. All I ask is that you spare my crew.
That is a most intriguing offer. Typical, I must say, of your sterling character. What do you think?
Exterior space. Reliant continues her slow arc. Interior Enterprise bridge.
I make you a counter proposal. I will agree to your terms if, in addition to yourself, you turn over to me all data and material regarding the project called Genesis.
Reactions from Spock and Kirk.
Genesis? What's that?
Don't play with me, Kirk. My hand is on the phaser control.
Give me some time to recall the data on our computers.
I give you 60 seconds, Admiral.
Kirk turns from the screen.
Admiral, you can't give him Genesis.
We know he hasn't got it. Just keep nodding as though I'm giving orders. Savick, punch up the data charts of Reliant's command console. Hurry.
Reliance command.
Hurry.
The prefix code.
That's all we've got.
On screen.
We're finding it. Please, you got to give us time. The bridge is smashed. Computer's inoperative.
Time is a luxury you do not have, Admiral. 45 seconds.
Exterior space. Reliant, her arc completed, is coming back. Interior Enterprise bridge.
I don't understand.
Kirk puts on his spectacles.
Got to learn why things work on a starship. It's coming through now, Con.
The prefix code is 16309. All commands from each starship bridge are relayed electronically. Each ship has its own prefix combination code.
30 seconds.
Prevent an enemy from doing what we're attempting, using our console to tap in a message in order to lower Reliant's damn shields.
Let's hope he hasn't changed the combination. He's quite intelligent.
Wait for my signal, Spock. Too soon, and he'll have time to figure it out and raise them again.
Spock nods. Kirk turns to the screen.
Con, how do I know you'll keep your word?
I've given you no word to keep, Admiral. In my judgment, you simply have no alternative.
I take your point. Stand by to receive our transmission.
He turns from the screen again, softly.
Mr. Sulu, lock phasers on target and await my command.
Phasers locked.
They're all sweating.
Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes. Now, Spock.
Close up on Spock's hands punching in the prefix code, followed by other signals. Interior Reliant bridge.
Sir, our shields are dropping.
Damn it, raise them.
Yoakum punches frantically.
They won't raise.
Where's the override?
All monitors are haywire now that Enterprise is tapped in. They search wildly for the right switch, but Interior Enterprise bridge. Close up Kirk.
Fire!
Close up Sulu's hands punching. Exterior space. Enterprise fires at Reliant, inflicting heavy damage. Interior Reliant bridge. A shambles, debris flying. Khan knocked to the deck. He struggles to his feet through wiring.
At them, fire, fire. Why can't you?
We can't fire, sir. They damaged the photon controls in the warp drive. We must withdraw.
No.
Sir, we must. We must repair the damage. Enterprise will wait. She's not going anywhere.
Khan calms as the others hold him. He breathes deeper. Exterior space. Reliant turns away. Bridge Enterprise. They watch on screen as Reliant hauls off.
Sir, you did it.
I did nothing except cock my britches down. Must be senile. Savick, you just keep right on quoting regulations. Meanwhile, let's find out what the hell is going on and see how bad we've been.
The turbo doors whoosh open and Kirk reaches them. Scotty stands there, tears streaming down his face. He holds the body of Midshipman Preston. Both of them are covered in blood. He sways into Kirk's arms as the others rush forward. Exterior space. The Enterprise motionless, scars of battle showing. Interior engine room. The crew, wearing respirators amid the motionless ball of gas, work frantically at a dozen jobs, trying to put things all right, splicing wires, etc. Some trainees who panicked are back. Feature the crew chief, making a final judgment.
Hey,
A turbo whines and a great wind of suction pulls the gas toward the appropriate vents. The crew chief watches, then yanks off his respirator, wipes his brow. Interior sick bay. Many casualties and evidence. Kirk enters and leads camera through them. He has a word or two for men he doesn't know by name. Kirk leads us to the operating theater where Bones works over Preston. Scotty stands by, his lips trembling. Preston opens his eyes, sees Scotty and Kirk. And says,
Is the word
damn it,
given?
Travis.
Is the word given? Jesus.
Word is given. Warp speed.
Aye.
he dies. Pause. Scotty looks across the body at Kirk.
Why?
Wants to kill me for passing sentence on him 14 years ago. He doesn't care who stands between him and his vengeance.
Scotty, I'm sorry.
He stayed at his post. When the trainees around, he stayed.
He hadn't, he'd be in space by now.
Admiral, this is Spock.
Kirk hits the wall intercom.
Yes, Spock.
Engine room reports auxiliary power restored. We can proceed at impulse power.
Best speed to regular 1. Kirk out. Scotty, I've got to ask. Any chance of getting the mains back online?
I don't know. Think so. But you'll have my best.
With an effort, he gets off to his feet.
Thanks. I know you're trained doctor.
Squeezes his shoulder and limps off. We now hear the sound of impulse power taking effect.
Are you all right?
Bones shrugs unhappily, looks at Preston.
Doctors lose patience sometimes. Damn, still in the dark. How do you know about Genesis?
The moment that question takes a backseat to preventing him from laying his hands on it. You said it yourself. We're talking about a bang that could rearrange the universe.
There may still be time. You gave as good as you got.
I got beat. We're only alive because I knew something about these ships that he didn't.
He turns and leaves as Bones watches, looks again at Preston. Exterior space, Regula 1 space station. Regula, the dead planet beyond. Exterior space Enterprise, approaching. As she moves slowly past camera, we pan with her to see that she is approaching the space lab. Interior bridge Enterprise. Battle damage, some repaired, some not. The bridge is filled with tension, all hands at station.
Approaching Regular and Space Station Regular 1.
Try again.
Space Station Regular 1, this is Starship Enterprise. Come in, please.
Not your line.
Oh, fuck me. Never mind.
I'd rather not, Mr. Sulu.
Space Station Regular 1.
You're
this is
lost,
Starship
Kirk.
Enterprise. Come in, please.
Interior space station Regula 1. Carol's lab on screen. As before, Uhura's image imploring a response.
I say again, Space Station Regular. This is Starship Enterprise. Please respond. Please respond.
During this, camera has panned close among the technical clutter. Then suddenly, sound, eerie, frightening. Our ears cannot place it. And before we can, it is gone. A warning. Back to bridge.
No response, sir.
Sensors, Captain?
Scanners and sensors still inoperative. There's no way to tell what's inside the station.
And no way of knowing if Reliant is still in the area.
Affirmative, Admiral.
Blind as a Tiberian bat. What do you make of the planetoid beyond?
Regula is a Class D. It consists of various remarkable ores, essentially a great rock in space.
Reliant could be hiding behind that rock.
A distinct possibility.
Engine room. Scotty, do we have enough power for the transporters?
Just barely, sir.
I'm going down to the station.
He starts out, but Bones stops him.
Khan could be down there.
He's been there and hasn't found what he wants. Can you spare someone?
Yeah, I can spare me.
Begging the Admiral's pardon. General Order 15, no flag officer shall beam into a hazardous area without armed escort.
There is no such regulation.
Savik's gaze falters.
All right, join the party. Mr. Spock, the ship is yours.
Aye, sir.
Establish a parking orbit around the station and send me a complete damage report when you've talked with Mr. Scott.
Be careful, Jim.
Kirk, Bones, and Savik head for the turbo doors.
We will.
Exterior space station, regular 1. Closer angle now. The silence is ominous. Interior space station, regular 1. Carol's lab. Empty except for the hums and cackles of abandoned equipment. With a familiar sound, Bones, Kirk, and Savik materialize. All have phasers, communicators, and tricorders. For a moment, they look around, seeing emptiness, like being in a haunted house.
Hello? Is anybody there?
A weird echo reverberates his cries.
Indeterminate life signs.
Read it on stun. Move out.
They separate. Each begins to search. Angle with Savik. She moves to the electronic and data area, examines the consoles, the equipment, then settles for the data bank. She starts keying sequences with the computer. Interior space station, Bones. He shows signs of fear as he walks through the deserted place, like a scuba diver exploring a cave. We want him to go back. A noise. Bones reacts with brave apprehension. Rounding a corner, he starts. A rat scuttles right in front of him. Bones sighs with relief and moves forward. We think he's safe. Suddenly, something falls right on his face, an upside-down human arm. Same locale later. Kirk helps Bones cut down the last of the 5 bodies from where they were hanged upside down. Having recovered his composure, Bones examines the corpses. We recognize Madison, March, among others. One is clearly the cook.
Even killed the galley chief.
This one looks like a steward. They're not warm, but rigor hasn't set in. This didn't happen all that long ago, Jim.
Kirk looks around despairingly. Interior space lab data bank, with Savik working with console. Something puzzles her. She frowns, but the new sound distracts her. She looks up and moves off. Full shot in the lab. A moan is heard. All 3 now converge on the area. As they near it, Savik's tricorder hums furiously. Be this a room, a locker of some other place, this time they open the door. The limp bodies of Chekhov and Terrell fall out.
Admiral Kurt, Enterprise, come in, please. Come in,
Will
please.
continue sporadically.
My God.
Chekhov emits a live, reassuring moan.
That's Clark Terrell. Jim, I've served with him.
Bones is passing his medical tricorder over Chekhov.
Brain disturbance appears to be drug-induced.
He reaches into his kit. He shoots Chekhov, moves off to Terrell. Uhura voice continues in the background.
For God's sakes, tell her we're all right.
Interior Enterprise bridge favoring Uhura.
I'm saying again, this is Enterprise. Please acknowledge signal. Please.
Savik's face appears on her screen.
Commander Uhura, this is Lieutenant Savik. We're all right. Please stand by. Out.
Aye, aye.
Interior space station, tight group. Chekhov opens his eyes and stares into Kirk's.
Oh, God. Admiral.
He weeps like a child, and Kirk holds him. Meanwhile, Terrell opens his eyes and stares at Bones.
Dr. McCoy, Captain. Do you remember me?
McCoy? Yes. Oh, yes.
Angle favoring Chekhov and Kirk. Chekhov breaks the embrace in high relief and anxiety.
Oh, sir. It was Khan. We found him on Ceti Alpha 5.
Easy, Pavel. Tell me what you can.
No life signs. But he was there. Captured us. He put creatures inside our bodies to control our minds.
Bones takes over Chekhov.
It's all right. You're safe.
Made us say lies. We beat him. The captain and me. He thought he controlled us, but he didn't. The captain was strong.
Chekhov breaks into tears. Kirk looks at Terrell, who is more composed.
Captain, where is Dr. Marcus? Where are the Genesis materials?
You couldn't find them. Some of the scientists are still here, but everything else, even the data banks, were empty.
That's true, Admiral. All of the memory cells have been emptied.
Erased.
He tortured those people. None of them would tell him anything. He went wild, strung them up, and slit their throats. He wanted to tear the place apart, but he was late. He had to get back to Reliant in time to blow you to bits.
Came damn close.
He left us. We were no longer of use.
Where is the Reliant crew? Dead?
Marooned on SETI Alpha 5. He's completely mad, Admiral. He blames you for the death of his wife.
I know what he blames me for. The escape pods are in place. Where's the transporter room?
Interior space station transporter room. Kirk, wearing his spectacles, studies the transporter consoles. Angle widens to reveal the transporter pods and the others' background.
Did he make it down there?
Chekhov and Terrell look at each other. They seem a bit stronger.
It was not my impression. He spent most of his time trying to wring the information out of the people.
Savik approaches Kirk.
Anything?
Kirk looks at her over the rims of the glasses.
Somebody left the unit on. If everyone else was dead, it implies that no one remained to turn it off. Those people back there bought escape time for Genesis with their lives.
Savik studies the console.
It doesn't make sense. These coordinates are well within Regula, a planetoid we know to be lifeless and airless.
Stage 2 was completed. It was underground. She said it was going to be underground.
Stage 2 of what, sir?
Kirk gets it.
Kirk to Enterprise. Damage report, Spock.
Admiral, if we go by the book, like Lieutenant Savik, hours could seem like days.
I read you, Captain. Let's have it.
Fractional pause.
The situation is grave, Admiral. We won't have main power for 6 days at least. Auxiliary power has temporarily failed, but maybe we can restore that in 2 days. By the book, Admiral.
Kirk frowns.
Meaning you can't even beam us back.
Not at present.
Kirk looks at Savik and Bones. Decides.
Captain Spock, if you do not hear from us within 1 hour, your orders are to restore what power you can, take the Enterprise to the nearest starbase, and alert Starfleet Command when you are out of jamming range.
Sir, we won't leave you behind.
If you don't hear from us, there won't be anything behind. Kirk out. You gentlemen can remain here, or...
If it's all the same, Admiral, we like to share the risk.
Very well. Let's go.
So, where are we going?
Where they went. Savik?
Kirk walks onto the pods as Savik works the console, rolling in electronic coding. The others join Kirk.
But what if they went nowhere?
This will be a big chance to get away from it all.
Ready?
She presses a button, joins them on the pods. Slowly, they vanish. Exterior space, the planetoid Regula. Camera moves towards it as the beam sound continues with irregularity. The planetoid is ugly and dead. The sound frightens us and climaxes with rocky cavern, Regula. The beam sound screeches, then settles into its comfortable mode as the 5 figures fluctuate, fade, then appear. They look around in wonder and relief.
Admiral.
She indicates something off screen. They cross as camera reveals a cave wall stacked with technical materials and crowned by a large projectile, a giant version of the model we saw earlier. They stare.
Genesis, I presume.
They walk by a group of crates. It all happens very fast. David leaps out and tackles Kirk, throwing him to the ground and landing atop him, a knife at his throat. At the same time, Bones and Savik reach out their phasers, but Jeddah, already armed, steps out. He has them covered and helpless. Angle favoring David.
You're the son of a bitch who committed mass murder up there.
He raises the knife.
I'm Admiral Kirk.
We were still there, you dumb bastard. We could hear the screams all the way to the transporter room.
Again, he raises the knife.
Where's Dr. Marcus?
I'm Dr. Marcus.
Carol reaches the tunnel entrance to the cave.
David.
Mother, go back.
Carol sees Kirk.
Jim.
I'm going to kill him.
You do that and you'll have murdered your father.
All react. David and Kirk, facing each other, are turned to stone. Bones, Jeddah, and Chekhov turn to look at Carol, wondering. Terrell very casually takes the phaser from Jeddah. New angle, formerly scene 134.
Hold on to this.
But Kirk and Carol ignore them and walk towards each other. There are tears in Carol's eyes. She reaches up, trying to smile, and touches his hair.
You've got a little gray.
She can't. Kirk takes her and holds her tightly, looking at David over her shoulder. He stands there, stunned, looking back.
Carol, is that true?
She nods.
Why didn't you tell me?
Making it up. My father was Professor.
David, you're just making this harder.
I'm afraid it's even harder than you think, Doctor.
He and Chekhov have their phasers trained on them.
Please don't move.
Back off.
Sorry, Admiral.
Terrell speaks into his wrist recorder.
Your Excellency, have you been listening?
Have indeed, Captain. You have done well.
I knew it.
David makes a reckless break for Terrell. Savik instantly throws herself on him, bringing him down as Terrell fires, hitting Jeddah, who was behind David, a killing ray. Jeddah dematerializes. Carol screams and David reacts with horror and guilt. Most importantly, Chekhov begins to tremble. Terrell himself is shaken by his reflexive action. He's in semi-panic.
Don't move, any of you.
Exterior space, the dark side of Regula. Reliant motionless in a parking orbit. Interior Reliant bridge favoring Khan. Yoakum over his shoulder. Others in evidence. Khan speaks into his console.
Captain, we are waiting. What's the delay?
Interior rocky cavern.
All is well, sir. You have the coordinates to beam up Genesis.
First things first, Captain. Kill Admiral Kirk.
Reactions by all. Only Kirk and Bones are unsurprised. David and Savik, dazed, fight to urge to do something. Chekhov is close to a seizure. Terrell fights conflicting mental signals.
Excellency, it's difficult. I try to obey, but...
Kill him.
As though tearing off a leech, Terrell grabs at the wrist recorder and flings it to the ground. A shockwave of pain hits Terrell. He recovers, trembling, and tries to obey. Chekhov is shaking badly. Terrell aims his phaser at Kirk. Chekhov slowly raises his phaser and aims at Terrell, though his hands are like lead. We think Chekhov is going to do the right thing. Then, shockingly, Terrell turns his phaser on himself.
Kill him, Terrell. Now.
Terrell does, blowing himself into oblivion. Angle favoring Chekhov. He screams, horribly, drops his phaser, clutching his head. Bones leaps to his side, pulls an injection device from his belt pack, jabs it into Chekhov's arm. Chekhov, almost with a sigh of relief, drops.
Terrell, Chekhov.
Jim, for God's sake.
They rush to his side, as do Carol and David. Angle favoring Chekhov. From the fallen man's ear, something begins to emerge. Very close, Chekhov's ear. The Sedai eel crawls out. It has grown quite large. Horror from all. Kirk picks up a phaser. As the eel clears Chekhov, he fires and destroys it. He shudders, then sees the wrist recorder and grabs it.
On, you bloodsucker. They're finished. You'll have to do your own dirty work now. Do you hear me? Do you?
Interior Reliant bridge. Khan reacts to Kirk's voice. Electronic shock. He clutches the communicator, his eye whites rolling.
Kirk. Kirk, you are still alive. My old friend.
Rocky cavern favoring Kirk.
Still, old friend. You've managed to kill just about everyone else. Like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
Perhaps I no longer need to try.
He punches several buttons. In the rocky cavern, the transporter beam locks onto the Genesis torpedo in its arming control box. As Kirk and the others watch, horrified, Khan beams up the materials. David tries to reach the torpedo, but Savik holds him fast.
Let go! He can't!
Only half of you would get there.
The beam disappears and Genesis with it, leaving them alone.
Khan, you have Genesis, but you don't have me. You're going to kill me, Khan. It's your sole purpose. You'll have to come down here and do it. You'll have to come down.
I've done far worse than kill you, Admiral. I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, where no one will ever find you. Poetic justice, marooned for eternity in the center of a dead planet, buried alive.
Khan!
Goodbye, Admiral. Oh, and don't count on Enterprise. She can't move, and my next act will be to blow her out of the heavens.
Interior Reliant Bridge. Khan closes his eyes in voluptuous satisfaction. Yoakum enters and Khan looks at him.
Well, damn it, Yoakum.
Warp drive still inoperative, and all other systems should be restored shortly.
Khan sighs contentedly.
Excellent. We have all the time in the world.
Interior rocky cavern. As before, Saavik is on the communicator.
This is Lieutenant Saavik calling Enterprise.
She keeps
I'm
trying.
sorry, there's a triple attack.
Chekhov stirs.
He's alive.
Bones goes and tends Chekhov's, who moans, tries to sit up.
Pavel.
Chekhov tries to smile. Kirk takes his hand.
No use, Admiral. They're still jamming all channels.
It wouldn't make any difference. If Enterprise obeyed orders, she's long since gone. And if she couldn't obey, she's finished.
So are we, it looks like.
I don't understand. Who's responsible for all of this? Who is Khan?
Long story.
We appear to have plenty of time.
You and your father can catch up on things.
My father. I hope you realize another man has just been killed because of...
Because of you, son. You shouldn't have tried to rush someone holding a prime phaser. Anyway, it isn't one man dead, it's two, in case you've lost count.
David has been effectively spiked. Long silence.
Everything to eat. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm starved.
How can you think of food at a time like this?
Our first order of business is survival.
There's food in the Genesis cave. Enough to last a lifetime, should that be necessary.
We thought this was Genesis.
Carol laughs. There's an edge of hysteria to it.
This! It took a Starfleet Corps of Engineers 10 months in space suits to tunnel out all of this. What we did in there, we did in a day. My neck is being licked. Oh my god, that's weird. David, why don't you show Dr. McCoy and the lieutenant our idea of food?
But we can't just sit here.
Yes, we can. Is there really something to eat?
David looks at his father, who checks his watch, putting on his spectacles.
David, please.
This is just to give us something to do, isn't it? Come on.
Saavik and Bones make to follow. Saavik turns to Kirk.
Admiral.
As her teacher, Mr. Spock, is fond of saying, I like to think there are always possibilities.
Exterior space, dark side of Gamma. Reliant sits idle. Interior rocky cavern. Carol sits on the ground, Chekhov's head in her lap, looking at Kirk.
David was right, wasn't he? Just to keep them busy?
Why? Why didn't you tell me?
How can you ask me that? We were together? Were we together? Were we going to be? You had your world and I had mine. I wanted him in mine, not chasing through the universe with his father.
Kirk turns away overcome. She watches him.
He's a lot like you in many ways. Nothing I could do about it. He's smarter, of course. That goes without saying. Most of Genesis was really his.
Her joke doesn't take effect. He doesn't turn.
This is it, isn't it? We're never going to get out of here.
Kirk says nothing.
Please. Tell me what you're feeling.
Kirk hesitates, comes back and sits next to Chekhov. He changes Bones' compress on the ear as he finally speaks.
This man I haven't seen in 15 years who thinks he's killed me. You show me a son who'd almost be happy to help him. My son. My life that could have been and wasn't. What am I feeling? Feeling old. Worn out.
Carol studies him. Gently, she sets Chekhov's head down on a sweater, then stands.
Let me show you something that will make you feel young. Young as when the world was new.
She offers her hand. Kirk looks at Chekhov, who smiles, faint reassurance.
He'll be all right. Come.
After a moment's hesitation, Kirk takes her hand and she leads him to the tunnel. Interior tunnel. Trucking before Carol and Kirk. A rising light falls on their faces as they walk, then run with excitement toward the source. Kirk races ahead. Kirk's point of view moving through the tunnel, toward the iridescent light at its end, blindingly beautiful with color. Intercut these two angles until we can hardly wait for Kirk to reach the end of the tunnel. And then when it does, interior Genesis cave promontory level, where the rock tunnel ends. Kirk comes out of the tunnel and his mouth drops open. Full shot, the Genesis cave, a huge cavern. Kirk is actually standing at the middle of it. Space extends vastly above and below his point of view. Like Eden, lush growth everywhere, waterfalls and a cobalt blue sky high. High above where the round orb glows, sending light and warmth downward. There is the path from where Kirk stands down to a lower level where Bones and the others are waiting and calling to him. Mist and haze waft gently across the cavern. Back to Kirk as Carol comes up beside him.
You did this in a day?
The matrix formed in a day. The life forms grew later at a wildly accelerated rate. Can I cook or can I?
Interior Reliant bridge. The turbo doors open and Yoakum stands there.
Yes, I do. Impulse power restored.
Khan smiles.
More than a match for poor Enterprise.
He punches at the console. Exterior space Regula. Reliant ominously pokes her nose out the lit side of the planet, heading for Enterprise. Interior Reliant bridge.
Departing dark side Regula.
Visual.
On screen, the Regula 1 space station. But where is Enterprise? On Khan, frowning with puzzlement.
Where is she?
On screen, not a trace. Interior generous cave platform. Kirk and the others eat fruit from the huge forest beyond. Chekhov has been moved to join them. Angle favoring David and Savik, who watches him.
What are you looking at?
The Admiral's son.
Don't you believe it?
Oh, I believe it.
She almost smiles. David returns her stare and it throws her.
What are you looking at?
I don't know.
Interior Genesis cave, wider angle. Savik rises, paces. Kirk puts down his food.
What I call a meal.
It's like the Garden of Eden.
Here, every apple comes from the tree of knowledge.
Kirk watches Savik.
What's on your mind, Lieutenant?
Kobayashi Maru, sir.
What?
No-win scenario. And with what philosophy a commander faces defeat.
Are you asking me if we're playing out that scenario now, Lieutenant?
On the test, sir, you will tell me what you did? I'd really like to know.
Kirk looks at Bones, who smiles.
Lieutenant, you are looking at the only Starfleet cadet who ever beat the no-win scenario.
Almost got tossed out of the academy.
He looks at his watch again, using his glasses.
Oh,
I reprogrammed the simulation so it was possible to rescue the ship.
what?
I changed the conditions of the test. I received a commendation for original thinking. I don't like to lose.
Then you never faced that situation. Faced death?
Till now.
We each face death every day we're alive, Savick.
He picks up the communicator.
Spock, this is Kirk. It's 2 hours. Are you almost ready?
Right on schedule, Admiral. Just give us your coordinates and we'll beam you aboard.
The others are on their feet, stunned with amazement.
Right. I don't like to lose.
He clicks off. David gapes at his father. Exterior space, dark side of Regula. We can see now where Enterprise is. She has slipped behind the planetoid clockwise, even as Reliant was rounding into the lighted side. Interior transporter room Enterprise. Kirk, David, Savick, Carol, and Bones, holding the semi-conscious Chekhov, materialize. Spock is there to greet them.
God damn the chat. But the damage report. We were immobilized.
Come, Lieutenant. You of all people go by the book. Hello, Spock. You remember Dr. Marcus?
They are moving through the room as they talk.
Certainly.
By the book.
Regulation 46-A. If transmissions are being monitored during battle.
On an open channel.
Savick steps in front of Spock.
You lied.
I exaggerated.
Hours instead of days, Savick. Now we have minutes instead of hours.
I'm taking this bunch to sickbay.
Camera stays with them, holds on David, awed. Interior corridor Enterprise. There he is. Savick and Kirk follow Spock. They stop at a turbo lift.
They're inoperative below sea deck.
Interior, another Enterprise corridor. They race down corridors as they speak.
What is working around here?
Not much, Admiral. We have partial main power.
That's it?
Best we could do in 2 hours.
Interior Enterprise bridge. Full crew in place as doors whoosh open.
Admiral on the bridge.
Battle stations.
Alarm, sirens, etc. Crew rush into place as Kirk, Spock, and Savick approach the big screen.
Tactical.
We see the Enterprise emerging from the dark side of Gamma Regula, where Reliant is now a moving blip.
Uh-oh.
She can outrun us and outgun us, but there is the Mutara Nebula at 153 Mark IV.
Scotty, can we make it inside?
The Energizer's bypassed like a Christmas tree, so don't give me too many bumps.
No promises, Mr. Scott. On your way.
Trouble with the nebula, sir, is all that static discharge and gas clouds on our tactical display. Visuals won't function and the shields will be useless.
Kirk looks over the rims of his glasses at Spock. They smile with faint amusement.
What sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick? The odds will be even.
Various corridors Enterprise. As the lights change, the crew runs to their stations. Exterior space. Enterprise starts moving. Interior hospital. Carol, David, and Bones react to the light change and the sirens. Bones works on Chekhov.
I'm going up there.
You'll be in the way, Dr. Marcus. Just stay here.
Carol and David are civilians on a battleship. Interior Enterprise bridge. Reacting. Savick approaches Kirk and Spock.
Admiral, what happens if Reliant fails to follow us into the nebula?
Kirk and Spock exchange looks.
I think we can guarantee she'll follow us, Mr. Savick. Remind me to explain to you the concept of human ego.
Best speed, Scotty.
Exterior space. The Enterprise whooshes by camera, leaving Regula behind. Reliant now appears on far background as camera begins to move to her. Interior Reliant bridge.
There, full impulse power. Not so wounded as we were led to believe. So much the better.
Exterior space. Reliant moves to and past camera in hot pursuit. Exterior space. Series of shots. Call them space spies. Enterprise rushes toward us, flashes by and continues toward the swirling nebula. Then Reliant does the same, closer in pursuit. At this moment, half the distance between Regula and the nebula have been covered. Interior Enterprise Bridge.
Estimated nebula penetration in 2 minutes. Reliant is closing.
Steady as you go.
Exterior space. Orientation shot. Reliant can clearly see where Enterprise is headed. Interior Reliant Bridge.
We'll lose them if they go in there.
Breaker.
Someone punches a button. Exterior space. Reliance shot crosses Enterprise's bow. Interior Enterprise Hospital. The ship reverberates with the near miss. Chekhov wakes up and looks wildly about.
Take it easy.
But I must.
Listen to me, Pavel. You haven't the strength or the equilibrium.
But
As they talk, David, unnoticed, leaves the area. The Enterprise is buffeted again.
My apologies. I was trashing Travis on the chat. Oh God, and then this just went away. Dr. McCoy, I can't just sit here. Tell me what I can do.
Help me get my surgery squared away. I'm expecting customers.
She whitens in fear. Another shot reverberates. Interior Enterprise Bridge.
That was close.
They just don't want us going in there.
1 minute to nebula perimeter.
The bridge door slides open and David enters. He stares in wonder. Saavik reacts to David.
Admiral, they're reducing speed.
Uhura, patch me in.
Aye, sir.
Interior Reliant Bridge.
Why are we slowing?
We aren't following them into the nebula, sir. Our shields will be useless.
This is Admiral Kirk.
Khan's eyes bulge.
We tried it once your way, Khan. Are you game for a rematch?
Khan's eyes bulge.
Khan, I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
Full impulse power.
No, sir. We have Genesis. Whatever you want.
Full power, damn you.
And he reaches across and executes it himself. Interior Enterprise Bridge. They react to Reliant's speed up. The nebula approach is on screen.
I'll say this for him. He is consistent.
Exterior space. The Mutara Nebula. We're very close now and see clearly the swirling, slowly moving gases, magenta, purple, etc. Magenta, purple, etc. There are veils of luminescent materials, and through all an interlace of unpredictable electrical charges. Like lightning, these intermittent great flashes illuminate whole sections of the nebula. Our view is moving slowly forward. Interior Enterprise Bridge.
And we're in.
Exterior space, the nebula. As Enterprise whooshes into the picture, headed into the purplish gas and disappears into a cloud bank of the stuff. A moment then, Reliant appears, pursuing Enterprise into the gloom, also disappears. Interior Reliant Bridge. On screen, the picture is squirrely purple, breaking up, blindness, panic.
Tactical.
Inoperative.
Raise the shields.
Electrical forces raging without are also reflected on the circuits within. It's bumpy on top of everything else. Electronic whining.
As I feared, sir, not functional. I'm reducing speed.
Khan does not argue. Exterior space, purple, series of shots. Continuously, Reliant emerges from a massive cloud bank. Electrical discharges abound. Barely moving, she feels her way around, alone. As the angle widens, a treat. Enterprise is above and behind Reliant. Interior Enterprise Bridge on screen. Reliant's image is breaking up.
Phaser lock inoperative, sir.
Best guess, Mr. Sulu. Fire when ready.
Sulu strains, then fires, just as an electrical disturbance bounces the bridge. Exterior space nebula. The bounce causes Sulu's phaser shot to go wide of Reliant amid crackling discharges. Interior Reliant Bridge. Rolls from the near-miss concussion.
Aft torpedoes, fire.
Exterior space nebula. Reliant is wide of the mark with the photon torpedo, a blinding electrical discharge. When it clears, Enterprise appears to be alone. Interior Enterprise bridge. On screen, nothing but magenta amid picture breakup.
Hold your course. Hold sharp.
At what?
Exterior nebula. Enterprise feeling its way. On bridge, point of view on screen. All peer into the lousy picture. Occasional electrical flashes. Exterior space nebula. Still Enterprise moves forward. A large flash, a sudden glimpse. Reliant borne in on collision course. Interior Enterprise bridge. A sudden clearing on screen. Reliant.
Evasive starboard.
Hard over, but not fast enough. Reliant fires a phaser. Series of shots. Reliance phaser shots hit the Enterprise torpedo room and dorsal fin area of the ship. Interior Enterprise torpedo room. An explosion rocks the room, and into Enterprise bridge, the bridge rattles from the explosion below. Sulu is thrown from his chair. Savik leaps to her post.
Phaser bank 1. Fire.
Exterior space nebula. The Enterprise fires a phaser and delivers a raking shot, which rips along the side of Reliant's primary hull. Interior Reliant bridge. The bridge is damaged. Yoakum and others are wounded.
Joachim,
For the first time, his friend wounded, Khan hesitates, holds him.
Yours is superior.
I shall avenge you.
New angle. She veers to one side with the impact and disappears into a deep purple mass. Interior Enterprise bridge. Sulu is being helped by David.
Damage, Scotty.
Interior engine room. Bones is there helping some crewmen. The reactor room flashes a red warning light and glows with a blue light. The air is heavy with smoke, but the doors damaged earlier still hold.
Admiral, I got to take the mains off the line. The energizer's shaking loose. I can't get in there to fix our radiation.
Interior Enterprise bridge.
All right. We'll do the job with auxiliary power.
The bridge door opens and closes. Chekhov, faint, stands there.
Could you use another hand, Admiral?
Man the weapons console, Mr. Chekhov.
Angle favoring David as the others react to Chekhov taking his place. Quiet.
Spock?
Spock is bent over the scanner.
Sporadic energy readings portside aft. Could be an impulse turn.
He won't break off now. If you follow me this far, he'll be back. But from where?
He's intelligent, but not experienced. His pattern indicates two-dimensional thinking.
Kirk looks at him, smiles.
Sir Savik, full stop.
I'll stop, sir.
Descend 10,000 meters. Stand by photon torpedoes.
Exterior space nebula. Reliant in purplish mass, banking slightly, completing a long turn, then boring ahead. Exterior space nebula. As Reliant emerges from the dark blue mass into a clear, almost tranquil place. Reliant moving slowly stops, as if looking around. Interior Reliant bridge. The screens are empty.
Where is he? Where in God's name is he?
Exterior space nebula. Reliant motionless in the foreground amid occasional flashes. Now behind Reliant and from below, like a great whale rising from the depths, Enterprise rises vertically, slowly passing the unsuspecting enemy. When Enterprise is above, behind and quite close, interior Enterprise bridge. Reliant on screen, intermittent but clear.
Torpedoes ready, sir.
Fire!
Series of shots. Exterior Enterprise fires torpedo, one which hits, destroying Reliant's weapons pod on top. Interior Reliant explosions rock the interior. Exterior Enterprise fires two more times. The first causes general damage. The second, close behind the blast, Reliant's port engines off into space, debris scattering. Interior Reliant bridge is devastated. Khan is blown from his chair and we're uncertain of his fate. Exterior space nebula. Reliant now a scarred, battered hulk, her main hull still intact but dead in space. Interior Enterprise bridge. No cheers, just deadly professionalism.
He's fire. Look sharp.
Power level's quite low, sir.
Mr. Scott, can you get the mains back online?
I need only 10 minutes, sir, till the radiation dissipates.
Ahura, send the commander. Reliant, prepare to be boarded.
Aye, sir.
Interior Reliant bridge. Amid the smoke and ruins, we see no sign of life.
Commander Reliant, this is Enterprise. Surrender and prepare to be boarded. Repeat.
In foreground, chillingly, Khan rises into the shot by the main console. He is horribly burned, and it is clear that he is clinging to life by his will.
No, Kirk. The game is not over.
As Uhura's voice continues off screen, Khan pulls himself into a chair at the console, one of his hands useless at his side.
To the last I will grapple with thee.
Painfully, with one good arm, he starts arming the Genesis console. Interior Reliant transporter room. There sits the Genesis torpedo. Lights start blinking in response. As we watch, the child we met on Ceti Alpha walks to the torpedo and smiles at the lights.
Enterprise
Bridge.
Enterprise to Reliant. You are ordered to surrender your vessel. Respond. Nothing, sir.
Leaving aboard. Alert transporter room.
Admiral scanning an energy source on Reliant, a pattern I've never seen.
David peers closer over Spock's shoulder, reacts.
It's the Genesis wave.
What?
He's on a build-up to detonation.
How soon?
We encoded 4 minutes.
We'll beam aboard and stop it.
You can't.
The briefest stunned moment. Kirk hits intercom.
Scotty, I need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all dead.
Static.
Scotty!
Spock leaps from his place and disappears through the bridge doors.
Saavik, get us out. Best speed.
Aye, sir.
Exterior Space Nebula. Enterprise backs away from Reliant. Her speed is painfully slow. Interior Reliant bridge. On screen, Enterprise, intermittent image, backs away. Khan smiles triumphantly through his pain. An electronic power sound has been building.
No. You can't get away. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
Khan topples forward, dead. The wine continues to build chillingly. Interior Enterprise engine room. Spock rushes in. Bones ministers to Scotty background. Spock sizes up the situation, starts for the radiation room. Bones intercepts him.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind? No human can tolerate the radiation that's in there.
But as you are so fond of observing, Doctor, I'm not human.
You're not going in there.
I'm afraid I can't stop to discuss this logically.
He gives Bones the Vulcan nerve pinch. Bones goes down. Spock presses the access button and enters the reactor room, a separated area behind radiation-proof glass and metal. Red lights flashing and an iridescent blue glow within. Angle on Scotty and Bones.
Get over there.
Interior Enterprise reactor room. Bathed in blue light, arcing energy around him, Spock is silhouetted figure as he goes to work, doors closing behind him. Exterior Space Reliant. The wine increasing, the dead ship Reliant alive with danger. Exterior Space Nebula Enterprise. A snail's pace compared to the escape speed needed. Interior Enterprise bridge.
Time from my mark.
2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Engine room, what's happening?
Interior Enterprise reactor room. Outside the glass, Scotty and Bones screaming.
Please.
Get out! Get out! Man! Oh, dear God!
Within, we can see the silent urging of Bones and Scotty. Spock is oblivious. Amid the fire blue arcs, he moves to the control panel. Between his hands and the controls, power arcs insanely. Spock is in an inferno, a radiation hell, fighting now with all his strength to control it. Slowly, the dampening rods move out. Spock moves to a manual control and begins to turn it. Close on Spock's hands on the manual console, slowly turning black. His face, using all the self-discipline he is capable out of to control the pain, continuing to work. Without Bones and Scotty, react in helpless horror. Exterior Space Nebula. Enterprise still well within the nebula. Reliant, a still figure visible in background. She's crawling still. Interior Enterprise bridge. Reliant, now symbol of death, on screen.
Time.
3 minutes, 30 seconds.
Distance from Reliant.
400 kilometers.
Kirk looks at David, but David shakes his head. No way. Then,
Sir, the mains are back online.
Bless you, Scotty. Go, Savick!
She increases power and exterior space nebula, series of shots. With a burst of warp speed, Enterprise accelerates out of the lazy pace and whooshes put out of screen, leaving Reliant behind. Point of view Reliant disappearing in swirls of the Mutara Nebula, which clears the flame, and Enterprise roaring through space. And Reliant, the whine increases to fever pitch, then she goes. Exterior Mutara Nebula master effect. As Reliant goes, so goes the nebula. The Genesis effect we saw in its earliest experiments now seems familiar on a gigantic cosmic scale. The blinding flash at first, followed by the same tumbling turbulence of the miniature test. It is awesome. Interior Enterprise bridge. The bridge doors open and Carol appears. Instinctively, she draws near her son. Finally, Kirk turns, sees Carol.
Reduce speed. My God. Carol, look at it.
On screen and intercut, Genesis tumbles and starts evolving. A moment in history.
Engine room. Well done. Scotty?
Tim, you better get down here. Better hurry.
The tone frightens Kirk.
Savick, take the con.
He moves through the doors quickly, leaving the rest staring at the new world evolving. Interior stairway to engine room. It is endless. Kirk runs forever, feet pounding down, down, down. Exterior space and on screen. The clouds tumble and move. New things lie beyond. Interior stairs. Kirk races. Interior Enterprise engine room. Kirk emerges to encounter Scotty and Bones. Their looks tell him. He sees the flashing light over the reactor room. He dashes for the control panel. Bones grabs him.
No, sir. You'll flood the whole compartment.
You'll die!
He's dead already. Jim.
Kirk's eyes bulge.
Oh, God.
Angle at reactor room glass door. With stunned understanding, Kirk stumbles to the door, sees Spock on his knees, hands blackened, face cracked with radiation lines and scars. Spock shakes his hand. With a feeble hand, he reaches the intercom button. Filtered communication.
Spock.
You're muted.
The ship. Out of danger.
Yes.
Spock is satisfied. He fights for breath.
Don't grieve, Admiral. It's logical. The good of the many outweighs.
He almost keels over. Kirk has tears streaming down his face.
The good of the few.
Or the one.
He props a hand on the glass to support himself. Kirk's hand reflexively goes to match Spock's on the other side of the glass.
I never took the Kobayashi Maru test until now. What do you think of my solution?
Spock.
I have been, and always will be, your friend. Live long and prosper.
Spock falls. Bones and Scotty react.
No.
Admiral, you've got to see this. There's new life. A whole new world. A Genesis world.
But Kirk is past hearing or caring. He is huddled up against the glass, destroyed. Bones looks on, helpless. Dissolved to exterior space. A spectacular look at Carol's planet being born. Camera pulls back to reveal the ship's company in full dress uniforms assembled for ship's burial service. Over the pullback, we hear,
In accordance with the traditions of Starfleet and of Article 184 Starfleet regulations, we are assembled here today to pay final respects to our honored dead.
Carol and David are prominently featured, David watching Kirk attentively. So are Sulu, Uhura, Chekhov, and Savick. Bones stands next to Kirk. Scotty carries his bagpipes. Savick wears her hair down.
And yet in the midst of our sorrow, it should be noted that this death takes place in the shadow of new life, the sunrise of a new world, a world that our most beloved comrade gave his own life to protect and nourish. He did not feel that sacrifice a vain or empty one, and we will not debate his profound wisdom in these proceedings. My friend, I can only say this. But of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human.
He tries to go on, but catches Bones' face. Bones is streaming tears. Kirk can't go on.
Lieutenant Savick.
Angle the group. Savick steps forward.
We commend the soul of our brother departed. We love, we commit his body to the depths of space.
Honors,
All Starfleet personnel salute. Scotty begins to pipe. An odd blare which mellows into amazing grace. Kirk nods a signal. The capsule. A gleaming black projectile is carried by pallbearers into the launching chamber, which locks behind it. At a hand signal from the torpedo man, the projectile is fired. Noise. Exterior space. Spock's remains seen on their way to the new world. The capsule grows too small to see. The bagpipes stop. Interior torpedo room.
return up.
The salute drop.
Lieutenant.
She steps up to him and they exchange salutes.
After you dismiss the company, you will take the watch. Set course for SETI Alpha 5 and we'll pick up survivors.
Aye, sir.
I'll be in my quarters if needed. But I would prefer
Understood, sir.
dismiss the company.
They salute. She about faces as Kirk walks towards the turbolift. Savick issues dismissal and posting orders, but we truck with Kirk until camera stops and he leaves frame, and we hold on David. He finally understands. Interior Kirk's quarters. After a long moment, the camera discovers Kirk. He pours a drink, then decides not to have it. He sits wearily, not knowing how to shake the ghosts. Then he sees the book. Kirk picks up the battered volume, the gift from his friend, and closes his eyes a moment. Almost idly, he starts turning pages, looking for a clue, but he can't see the writing. He rummages through his pockets and pulls out the half glasses. One of the lenses is broken. It has a deep impact on Kirk. He puts down the book and glasses and covers his eyes. A soft bong. Kirk clears his throat.
Yes. Come.
The door whooshes open and closes to admit David, the last person Kirk expected to see.
I don't mean to intrude.
No. We should be on the bridge.
Are you running away from me?
David's strength is turning a corner with Kirk.
Suppose I was. Poured a drink. Would you like it?
No, I guess I'm not what you expected.
Didn't expect anything.
That makes two of us. Lieutenant Savick was right. You never have faced death.
Not like this. No. I haven't faced death. I cheated death. I tricked my way out of death and patted myself on the back for my ingenuity. I know nothing.
You knew enough to tell Savick that how we face death is at least as important as how we face life.
It's just words.
But good words. That's where ideas begin. Maybe you should listen to them.
I'm trying, David.
So am I. My friends were killed too.
I'm truly sorry.
Pause. They study each other.
I was wrong about you. And I'm sorry.
Is that what you came here to say?
Mainly. And also that I'm proud, very proud, to be your son.
A stunned moment. Then Kirk lets it all hang out. For David, for Carol, and for Spock. He hugs his son, holding on to him as if to life itself. Exterior space. The Enterprise passes the new planet in all its beauty. Interior Enterprise bridge. The door whooshes. Kirk strides on the bridge, David with him. Carol is there with Bones. They are glad at what they see.
Admiral on the bridge?
As you were, Mr. Savick.
Aye, sir. On course to SETI Alpha. All is well.
Good. I believe you already know my son.
Savick comes close to blushing.
Yes, well, why don't you show him around? And
Aye, sir.
She takes him off, deadpan amusement.
So you turn out to be the dumb bastard.
They stare at her.
That was a little joke.
Kirk has a smile. He joins Bones and Carol facing the screen.
Changed her hair again. Will you look at that? Think they'll name it for you, Doctor?
If I can help it, we'll name it for our friend.
It's a far, far better thing than I have ever done before. Far better resting place I go to than I have ever known.
Is that a poem?
Something Spock was trying to tell me on my birthday.
He shakes his head, remembering.
You okay, Jim? How do you feel?
Young. Feel young, Doctor.
He turns to Savick and David.
Lieutenant, new course. Second star on the right and straight on till morning.
The bridge cackles with lights and chatter as we cut to the view screen and go through to exterior space finale.
Space. The final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
She is moving out now, passing camera and heading toward the distant stars. She's beautiful and they are beautiful. And as she slowly disappears from view, music rises, credits roll. The end.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, everyone did an amazing job. If you're watching, thank you so much for sticking with us and watching this one. We all love Star Trek. Clearly, we all came dressed coordinated, except for Travis, because
Damn it,
well,
Travis.
it's Travis. Anyway, have a good night.